Yeah. So the project that we got funded was called Tun Up, and the initial idea was to work with two groups of young people and teach them the ins and outs of putting on a live music event. Yeah, so a series of workshops, and it was initiative, so it was led by the participants. So it was very important that they had control of what happened for their event. So they involved with like the admin side of it and the creative roles, as well as event day roles. Yeah, so we wanted to work with marginalised youth, predominantly BME young people. In the end, we worked with a charity called Evolve Housing, and they house young people experiencing homelessness, so we worked with homeless young people. So the funding, mainly the money that we were given, allowed us the time to go into the hostels and work with the young people. It gave us the time to work with them, as well as event budget to actually put on the event. So booking our artists, paying for marketing, and the event space as well. Yeah, that definitely a lot of trust had to be built between us and the participants. I think that is a barrier. We went into these spaces not trying to enforce anything onto anyone, but having an open space, and if these young people wanted to engage with us, then they were like free and open to do that. The initial idea was to put on two different events with two groups of young people. We worked with two separate young people's hostels. The project was completed to the end, and we put on a great event. The second one we had to stop halfway because we had a lack of engagement with the young people. With the second half of that budget, we decided to take some of the young people from the first event and mentor them for a spoken word night. And that spoken word night has turned into a monthly event now. We did keep, three of the young people from the initial event stayed with us for 4 months, and then different reasons they're no longer with us, but we are engaging with other young people and other marginalised youth with the project now, which has now turned into What You Say in the spoken word night. So it's kind of transformed. FEF, so from In Place of War. So I know Ruth and Alison from In Place of War for a few years, well, five years I think now. Ruth was doing a project in Croydon. She was teaching, I was on Job Seekers at the time, and she was teaching, doing a workshop about the music industry, which I went along to. I spoke to Ruth. She told me, at the time I was a videographer, and she invited me to film one of the projects they were doing, Voices of the Revolution. And so I've stayed in contact with her since, and she put me forward, myself and Hamira, who couldn't be here today, for the funding. Yeah. We kind of knew what we wanted to do. We did have some problems along the way, and we did just check in with our mentors, just to make sure that everything was okay. The funding was pretty open, so we were pretty free to carry on when there was... the funding was pretty open, so we were pretty free to carry on when there was issues along the line. I don't personally, but Hamira, who I worked on the project with, she has been funded for quite a lot of projects. I know it has been easier. The process of getting the funding was a lot easier, and the aftermath. I know a lot of funding applications. You've got to show that you've hit all of these outcomes and objectives, write reports and evaluations, and we didn't need to do that, which was kind of a relief. Well, we chose to create a video evaluation, which we half did and half didn't do due to technical errors. So I think it's an ongoing evaluation. So the future is carrying on what you're saying. We are developing that in lots of different ways. So we're working on artist development, so developing our poets, developing them as artists, and we have started a new monthly night called Female Poet Infiltration, and that is working with female poets, building up their confidence, creating a network between them, as well as along with the personal development, we create videos for our poets as well, and so that's to share their work further out. It is a self-contained project at the moment, but we are looking for funding to keep going because it is hard to just do off our own backs. I think there was one thing that I wanted to mention yesterday at the presentation that I didn't. It's actually something to read out.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought like from one of our participants, Louise Goodfield. She sent this over to us. So she wrote, "What you saying have been so amazingly supportive to me ever since I came to my first ever spoken word night to perform a poem I had written. It was my first ever performance of this kind and I was terrified. But they spoke to me and reassured me both before and after the performance and took so much care to make sure I felt safe and supported. They have provided a safe space platform for anyone, regardless of experience or background, to express themselves. It's such a personal and nurturing experience that focuses more about the long-term development of the artist and the community. I didn't expect to come back every month, but it's too good to stay away. I don't think I would have found so much confidence to carry on and write new poems each month and perform them if I hadn't begun my journey with What You're Saying. They are more than an organisation. They are a few individuals who share a collective heart and desire to help people grow, develop and share our humanity. There is so much more potential in this project and these people. They have so much more to give. I only wish that I could give back to them as much as they have given me." And I think that's that kind of feedback is a lot of feedback that we receive, and it's really great to know that we're helping people.